Are you there? Amen. Colossians chapter 3, verse 16 reads, "Let the word of Christ dwell in you richly in all wisdom, teaching and admonishing one another with psalms and hymns and spiritual songs, singing, as we just did, with grace in your heart to the Lord." Verse 17, "And whatsoever you do, in word or deed, do all in the name of the Lord Jesus Christ, giving thanks to God and the Father by him." My position before you this afternoon is because of who he is. Amen. You may be seated. Because of who he is. As you locate the book of Colossians, you are locating a book that is a part of what is called the epistles of the prison writing from none other than Paul. It is Paul who gives us the book of Colossians, and it is a church whom he writes to, but he has never visited. We find that these Pauline prison epistles come in a number of four. For the book of Ephesians, written to the people of Ephesus, to the people of Philippi, gives us the book of Philippians, and then this book of Colossae, or written to the Colossae city, the people of Colossians, the Colossians, and lastly, the personal note he wrote to a person by the name of Philemon. These four books are known as his prison epistles because Paul wrote them from the prison of Rome. He writes to the people of Colossae, the people of Colossians at Colossae, to let them know that a heresy had come to place, talking about because of who he is. Because in his writing, he has shared with them how Christ plus nothing is necessary, but Christ all by himself is fully efficient. He has told them about the preeminence of Christ. He's told them about the supremacy of Christ. And he has told them about the sufficiency of Christ. But somehow they have allowed other teachers to come to let them now consider that Christ was not enough all by himself. And we as a church must take note from this writings of Paul to the Colossians. Why? Because we too have to know that just because of who he is, we should serve him with all that we have. See, it is only when we misunderstand that Jesus himself, our complete Savior, paid it all and did it all, then we should in return give it all. Give him all of ourselves, our time, our possessions. Why? Because he gave it all to us. It is only when we believe that some part of salvation is based on our doing that we can even begin to surmise that there are just certain things that I won't do, or certain things that I will determine if I would do. And I say this to New Hope because it's so important to know that all because of who he is, then we should understand because he's done so much for us. How can we serve him less? How can we allow the world to give us ammunition to think that if I don't feel like it, I don't have to do it? If I am tired, I can let that be a reason not to participate. When reality of it is, if Christ had just one of those emotions that you allowed to keep you from serving him locally, if he just had one of those emotions that you express whenever you're in your humanity thinking that you have a right to sit down on he who matters most. Why? Because you don't understand that it is a privilege to serve God. It is a privilege to call upon the name of Jesus. It is something that Jesus gave unto us that we might have the power to call upon in this world of adversity. The people of the Colossian people, they just simply understood that after they had received the letter of Paul, then here come the Jews
Yes.
The Jews come in with their legalism. Then here come the Greeks. They come into the setting and they come with their speculation. And then comes the people of Asia as they come into it with their mysticism. You see, one thing the enemy of all of us know, that in order to introduce confusion, you have to introduce many parts to knowledge. But see, the Bible tells us that let the knowledge, or let Christ dwell in us with rich knowledge and understanding, that it is Jesus all by himself. It is only when you began to think in this world of information that knowledge can be grabbed and added to the scenario that it was Jesus and circumcision. No. It's Jesus and baptism. No. It is Jesus and Bible study. No. It is Jesus and my denomination. No. It is Jesus all by himself. It's because of who he is. God has made it so simple for the world. If you would understand, well, Pastor, who is he? I'm glad you asked. He is the door, the truth, and the life. He is the Alpha and the Omega. He is the one who paid the price for us all. He's the one that says, come unto me, all you that labor and heavy laden, and I will give you rest. He is the one that says that look to me, who is the author and finisher of your faith. So in the midst of this life, when it brings us our trials and our victories, we have to know, we have to learn to keep an even keel, y'all. An even, steady balance sheet. Why? Because in the heyday of my mornings or my day when everything is well, it's Jesus.
Yes, sir.
When I go through my trials and I don't know which way it's up, I can still turn to Jesus. And when I don't know what direction to follow and I'm not certain of what's going on, I can always ask Jesus. And when you understand that because of who he is, you have been given a energy and a person. You have been given a blessing and also a challenge. Why? Because somewhere in this whole situation, we have began to think that I can decide where and when I will serve him. See, you are immature. If you ever think you can sit down on God's program and heard it, please know this. Nobody weighs enough to hurt God's program. Otherwise, the church would have been out of here a long time ago when those disciples and apostles decided to scatter and only the women stayed close to Christ. Thank you, ladies, for having backbone. And only when you understand that God's program will outlast you. God's program will run after we done put dirt on top of you. After the banana pudding and the peach cobbler gone. It's going to be God's program. And unless you understand that you need to repent before God, that you thought that your absence would do anything to the presence of God, whether it's here, in your family, whatever it is that you allow to replace your devotion to him. Why? Because don't get so used to the adage that only what you do for Christ will last. If only you could speak over into the place called hell and pull up some of the people that we didn't put there. So no matter who I name, I didn't put them there. And I'm not saying they're necessarily there. I just know the book says that if you don't have Jesus, the book says if you don't make it right with God through Christ, the book says no matter how much wealth you have, you will go the same way as the rich man who in hell lifted up his eyes. But if you could talk to them now, they would tell you that how much time we waste when we think that this time is forever ours. When the minute we leave the womb of our mother, headed toward our appointment with that grave, time is ticking, baby. And the only thing you have from the date that you came is that dash that serves as the pointing point to when you leave. It is only that dash that you have. How much of that dash have you wasted on your selfish ways of trying to show God that you can do it without him? And your selfish ways trying to show God that his program will fail if you're not one of the wheels on the automobile. Baby, you think way too much of yourself. And believe it, if it's your pastor or if it's you, just know something. God put his only begotten son on that rugged cross to pay the price for the church that's today. And just know something. We need to take a back seat to our forefathers of the first century church. Because as the deacons and I was talking Wednesday, you know what? We wouldn't be where we are now if it wasn't for them. Amen. They withstood the lions, the beatings, the stab, the beheadings, all these things that came upon the early church. Now they scattered, but they scattered telling the good news that all because of who he is. And once they saw the risen Savior, y'all, Rome couldn't make them tell the fact that he didn't get up. No, in the struggle with Rome before their faces. What I mean, see, all these men and women had to do, y'all, was tell them, you know what? You're right, he didn't get up. All they had to do to spare their own lives was to say that, you know what, you're right, we stole the body. But the only problem is that would have been a lie. They had saw the truth. And once you receive the truth of who Jesus is, you should never be the same. You should never be the same when you see how he has delivered you in the midst of situations whereby the world counts you out. Your own family members said you were not worth the time that they will spend with you. But the reality of it is God, through Jesus Christ, showed you how much love. Why? Because he is the one that holds us when nobody else will. Somebody got to know that there are times when you can use an arm around your shoulder to let you know it's going to be all right. You got to know there are times when you want to look into the eyes of someone else and tell you, baby, it's going to be all right. And there's just something about those kind of encouragement that comes to somebody, from somebody who's been through something. See, if you haven't been through something, you really can't say it with any backbone to what it's like to overcome. But because of who he is, we can all look and say, you know what? God, I thank you that you've allowed me to know you in spirit as well as in truth. Why? Because in these times, as the people assaulted the church at Colossae, the Colossians, they had to deal with it. Why? Because they were a Gentile church. What does it mean, Bible students? It means that they were not Jews. So they came into it from all kind of background, much like us. They came into the church from the world of paganism, from the world of mysticism. All kinds of junk was a part of what they brought into this church, this new way that had been founded just by Jesus the Christ. So when they came into it, there was a certain thing they thought should still be, meaning that they thought that their goodness could save them. They thought that their absence could hurt the program. They thought that if I didn't do it, it won't get done. All of these things was heresies, y'all. But what does heresy mean? I mean, you got a misunderstanding of the truth. Why? Because God is the one who controls all things. And you think that he's not going to take care of his local church? When we're the only agent, I'm done. We're the only agent that he has left to save this dying world. What part are you playing in the agency? What part are you playing in the only agency left on planet Earth whereby others can come and hear the good news that Jesus saved? The gospel is being preached throughout the church, throughout the world, through the churches, y'all. And if you don't help the church, what will you do when you stand before him to give an account of your time, of your energies, of your resources, of your talents? What will you do when he said that I left my agency? They are known as the local body, the church. Now the church triumphant is already glorified. That's what we're headed toward. The church triumphant is waiting on us. But the local church, we got to do our part, y'all. We got to reach and make sure we bring somebody with us through the gates of heaven. Whereby we reach back and we couldn't preach or sing or deacon or deaconesses or whatever, but you could smile. You could smile into the heart of somebody whose heart had been broken and tell them that, baby, you know, if you just hang on. You could have easily reached out to help somebody who had fallen along the way. Instead of standing over them to look down on them, you stood over them to help them up. You could do that. But because of who he is, you have to know the strength of who we are is because we will do what he did. We will say what he said. We will trust the way he trusted. We will love the way he loved. We will forgive as he forgave. We will provide as he provided. How do we do it? It's because he said, let this mind that is in Christ Jesus, Paul said, be in us all. Well, how do we do it, y'all? We do it by understanding that we need each other.
Yes,
why? Because, see, there's only 2 lanes in this world. And I'll leave you with this. Some people believe that there are many lanes in the world, like they are on an application. God doesn't want to know your height, your size, your color. He doesn't want to know any of those things that the world uses to divide us. All he wants to know is, what did you do with Jesus? At the great judgment, there's not 4 or 5 lines, rich, poor, undeveloped, disallowed. No. It is sheep and goat. It is those that have made their peace with God, and it is those that have not made their peace with God. And the reality of it is, there's only 2 lines. And I want you to know, and here at New Hope, we need for you to come and prepare yourself to help us fill up the line of the sheep with your service, with your gifts, with your talents, with your time. Why? Because if the church ran on your schedule, how would we look, y'all? Late. And it's not an indictment per se, anyone in particular. The bottom line, all of us have to check this. Why? Because do you know, part of the reporting you will do in heaven, mark this, will be what you did on Q4. This is your history page. You know how you fill out your resume? Anybody, you got no resumes. You know what part of your resume, deacons? It's Q4. Amen. Pastors, preachers, trustees, clerks, members, part of your resume that you will talk about, your history, will be what took place on Q4 during your watch. Bottom line, did you help or did you hinder? Did you provide or did you take away? Could you be counted on or counted out? The reality of it is, just know that there's not anything for you to be afraid of. It's just something for you to be aware of. What? The things that we must give an account of is, what did you do with the time? That dash, that's all we have, y'all. Because that date that we came is already stamped. Is that right? I'm looking at you. I know that date is already stamped. There's a dash that we're all operating on now. It's called life. I don't know how your dash look. You better know how your dash look. Because just know this, that there will be another date added to your history. The day you came, the life you lived, and the day you said goodbye to this world. No matter what you do, it's only what we do for Christ that matters. Why? Because of who he is, we can all be victorious. So let's love, y'all. You know, people like to challenge each other. How much you can live, how fast you can run, right? How about this one for the church? See who you can outlove. See who you can outforgive. See who, because you know another challenge that I also leave you with, you know the best thing to do with an enemy is make them a friend. Make her a friend. You know why? Because the enemies and who they're enemy against, automatic separation. You know, that's automatically a foe, not an ally. But when you can love the hell out of folk. And I mean that hell that's in them. Well, they don't want nothing to do with you or anything else. It's not some four-letter word on the mouth of some man's kid. This is reality check. Because I'm telling you, there's no power against love. And when you say that, you know, even in spite of that you don't like me, I'm going to love you. Because the Bible didn't ask me to like you. I mean, we might not ever be fishing buddies. We might not ever go to the golf course. But what I can know is that we can be mature as men, women, people to say, you know what? In spite of the fact I can't stand you, I love you. And I put humor into the whole mix. Why? Because what? If God so loved us And guess what? He knows everything about us, right? You know good well God knows everything about you. We sit up here looking good and all dressed clean. God knows everything about us. And the Bible says while we were yet his enemy, he sent Christ to die for us. So we ought to love one another just based on that fact, just because of who he is, the example he gives, and the fact that let's do love, let's do forgiveness, let's do family. Why? Because the only thing that matters is the fact that God's going to ask that how many did we help? By loving, by forgiving, by smiling. You'd be surprised that, and I'll leave you with this for real. The enemy needs your help. This is not the march of dimes. This is not save a whale and save a whatever the animal things is. This is the enemy who is Satan. Says what? I can't get into New Hope unless I have help. I need somebody back to ride on. I need somebody mentality to come in on. I need you to help me show this congregation your look of this thing for who they are. And guess what? The bottom line is this. Refuse to help him. Refuse to help him. Say, you know what? You might get in, but it ain't going to be on my back. You might get in, but it's not going to be through me. All it says what? Is that as I love you, you love me. As I forgive you, you forgive me. Because at the end of it all, the bottom line is that God, when we stand before you, Q4, we represent. It is new hope time. And it's now time for us to give that new hope to everyone that comes to those doors, to let them know, if nothing else, that they will be loved here, that they are going to be welcomed here, and they will not be judged here. Why? Because judging is not our job. No one can judge you but Christ. But guess what? This is your resume. You will talk to God about Q4. Amen? Hey, because of who he is, worship him. Give him all you got. You know those things that you love. Those things you really love, your motorcycles, your boats, your house, your cooking, those things you love, you give yourself to them. I mean, you make time to make sure you indulge in them, right? Well, make this the place that you love. Make it the people that you love. And anyone that's on the contrary of that, pray that they grow up, y'all. Because time is too short. And on my dash, on your dash, I would rather be found loving than warring. Amen? Because of who he is.